Hari Om. Does anybody want to chant? Hello? Can you hear me? Suvarna Bhagini, are you there? Would you like to chant? Bhagini?
Yes, ma'am. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram. Would you like to chant?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah. पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीं नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावः दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवै रणनदी कैवर्तकः केशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटं नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितं लोके सज्जन षट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद् भारत पंकजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसिन श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुल्लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। नमो नमः।
Hari Om. धन्यवादः। नारायणं पद्मभुवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तमलकं च शिष्यं तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यान् अस्मद्गुरुं सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्य केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। परं वरिष्ठं ब्रह्मिष्ठं परमानन्दरूपिणं परमार्थानन्दयतिं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। So Lord Krishna introduced three topics in the form of Jnanam, Karma and Karta. Jnanam meaning knowledge, Karma meaning action, Karta meaning doer. So each one of these Lord Krishna has divided into three types: Satvika, Rajasika and Tamasika type. The aim for us is to understand that we have to gradually move from Tamasika to Rajasika, Rajasika to Satvika, or if we start from Rajasika, moving from Rajasika to Satvika type for each one of these. So ultimately we have to discover the Gunatitaha, the Atma Swarupam, which is beyond the three gunas. Right? Of these three topics, he has already completed the three types of Jnanam, three types of Karma, and in three types of Karta, we were looking at Rajasik. So verse 26 actually defined the Satvika Karta. He pointed out the features, the important characteristics of such a person: Mukta Sangaha, Anahamvadi, Dhrutyutsahasa Manvitaha. So Satvik doer is said to be one who is free from attachment, who is free from egoism, who is endowed with the will and enthusiasm, and who is unaffected in success and failure. He is involved in the Satvika karma that was pointed before, and even when he is involved in the karma, he does not get attached to the karma because the action is important for the initial growth. Karma yoga is important, but ultimately he has to come to Jnana yoga. So getting hooked to karma itself can become an obstacle to get to Jnana yoga. Therefore, karma is very important, but I should know the limitation of karma. It can give me mental purification, but it can neither give knowledge nor can it give liberation, right? So at the same time, karma can't be avoided because the initial growth in spirituality happens only through karma. Therefore, I should know how to enter and how to come out. So initial growth has to take place in the field of karma, but later growth has to take place only in the field of jnanam, which requires the reduction or gradual withdrawal from karma. Therefore, karma is good, but attachment to karma is not good. Satvika person is that person who does karma without attachment and without arrogance. He contributes to every field, and when the success comes, he is intensely aware of the contribution of others and he acknowledges the others' contribution, right? So, without arrogance, with enough perseverance, he will continue the karma until success is accomplished. And therefore, the success not only requires karma, right, but it has to be karma in the right direction, but also karma for the right duration. Okay. So therefore, perseverance is continuing until the success is accomplished. We will see more about Dhritihi later. Then we looked at Rajasika Karta, just the opposite. We saw that in verse 27, which also we almost completed in the last class. So while Satvika Karta is Panchamaha Yajna Pradhanaha, he is a responsible individual, constantly aware of the infrastructure and how the infrastructure contributes to my well-being, and therefore my responsibility to the infrastructure. What all should be my contribution to the infrastructure? And while contributing, he is also aware of the duty. So he fulfills his personal desires, but at the same time, he is aware of the duty to the family, to children, to neighbors, to government, to environment, etc. Right? So without shirking his responsibilities, he fulfills his desires also. Right? So his life is a balanced life. That was the Satvika Karta. Whereas a Rajasika Karta is one who is only aware of what all things he can grab from life, never aware of what are things that he or one has to do. So a Rajasika person concentrates more on consuming. So his contribution is either nil or very minimal. It is such people who become a burden to the society. Therefore, he does not do Panchamahayajna, right? Nitya Naimittika Karma, he is ignoring, right? Nitya Naimittika Karma, we saw obligatory or compulsory duties even towards his family, right? So all these karmas he ignores, but he is very deeply interested in Kamya Karmani. That means he will do religious puja for the success of his business, for the success of the children, etc. But the Sankalpa is never Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. So all the prayers that he is involved in are Aham Mama centric prayers, right? So they are all selfish prayers, and actions are also selfish. It will also come with emotional upheavals, because you do something and you don't get, then you have these emotional upheavals also. Such a person is called Rajasika Karta. Then what is Tamasika Karta? Let's read. Ayukta Prakrita Stabdaha. Ayukta Prakrita Stabdaha. Shato Naishkritiko Lasaha. Shato Naishkritiko Lasaha. Vishadi Dirga Sutri Cha. Vishadi Dirga Sutri Cha. Karta Tamasa Uchyate. Karta Tamasa Uchyate. So a tamasic karta is a contradictory term, basically. It's an oxymoron. Because a tamasic person is a lazy person, either sleeping or sleepy. Therefore, generally he is akarta. But akarta in another sense. It is not jnani, right? Akarta meaning he does not do anything. Therefore, Krishna calls him alasaha, idle, lazy, very close to animal life, only committed to eating, drinking, procreating, sleeping. These are the only actions he is involved in. So, alasaha, right? So, very, very lazy. Second line, vishadi, meaning he generally feels low. You call for anything, he'll say, I'm very low today. This he will continue to say every day, right? Therefore, the one who generally feels low, who generally feels unenthusiastic, right? One who generally feels bored. In fact, sometimes children use this word saying, I'm feeling bored, right? We should try and, avoid getting used to that kind of a trap, right? This feeling low, boredom. We should be able to see how we can keep ourselves motivated or involved in some work or the other. So that is, everybody goes through these situations because every mind is made up of three gunas. But here what Krishna is saying is this person is predominantly of that nature, right? Rarely by mistake he becomes enthusiastic. Whereas Satvika and Rajasic people don't feel like that. Therefore, Vishadi here means despondent or low. Dirga Sutricha, whatever he has to do, he postpones. Right from waking up onwards, he has kept the alarm, but then he doesn't get up on time, right? So procrastination is an indication of tamasic karta. Therefore, non-decision also, right? Whatever you are going to do, if you ask him, he will be always undecided. He manages the entire life without deciding anything, right? That is a tamasic mind. So that is a general tendency. He performs some actions, but it is generally very sloppy. Therefore, ayuktaha. Ayuktaha means without any focus. He never gets focus for doing any action, right? That is why, he will, suppose he has to put some things into an envelope and close. He might end up, again and again checking or opening the envelopes after closing it, right? Because he's so forgetful. Therefore, ayuktaha, unfocused, and prakritaha, meaning very crude in his behavior, not a refined person. Because refinement requires learning what is proper and improper, what is polite and impolite, what is right manner, what is wrong manner. Therefore, he is unrefined in everything, not only in thought, even in words, right? When there are people, what are the proper words to be used? He doesn't know, right? If he goes to a temple, how he should behave. In front of a Swamiji, how should he sit? How should he behave? Manners, none of these, right? Because he's not been tuned to that, right? He's very unrefined in his manners, prakritaha, right? So if you remember in our younger days, the parents will always say, right, don't bite your nails, sit properly, right? Don't do this, don't do that, right? They keep telling, because as children, it is easier for us to align, right? Don't keep on moving your legs, don't shake your hands. They'll keep on telling that, right? So that needs to be corrected right then, so that we don't have this tamasika mentality. So prakritaha, crude, and stabdaha. Stabdaha means arrogant, right? So neither does he know, nor does he want to know from others. Who are they to teach me? That's the feeling he has, right? So arrogant. And shataha means deceitful, dishonest, right? And naishkritika, often hurtful, because when I don't know what is right, what is politeness, I tend to be hurtful, right? So vishadi dirgha sutri cha tamasaha uchyate, right? So it's very difficult to be with that person, and therefore Swamiji always uses the sentence, there are some people who give happiness wherever they go, there are some people who give happiness whenever they go, right? Very nice representation of such people. So there are some people who give happiness wherever they go, and there are some people who give happiness whenever they go. So we have to decide what kind of karta we should be. Thus 26, 27 and 28 represent three types of karta. So jnanam, karma and karta, all these three topics Krishna has completed. So here is a summary of these. Is depression a manifestation of tamasic nature? There's a question here. If the person is not able to control thoughts early enough, right, then it becomes very, very difficult. So they say that in a way, even the counselors, when I listen to people telling me after their visits, they talk about having positive thoughts, cultivating positive thinking, etc. Right? So in a way, when you get to that stage, you do need help in the form of medical help also. But I'm not an expert, so I can't comment beyond that on depression itself. But one thing I know is the thoughts in the mind, they have to be directed and continue to be trained right through, so that we can have a Rajasic mind, right? So here is a summary of whatever we've done so far. And these verses are very, very useful for us to assess where we stand. And by regularly seeing what type of karta I am, what type of karma I am engaged in, what type of jnanam I have, these are all extremely beautiful verses which guide us on how to live, right? So this Gita contains two things. One is the highest philosophy, which is a thing to be known and assimilated. Then we've got such a lot of practical guidelines which we have to use to see what type of life we are leading. And you would have noticed that from the 13th chapter onwards, we see a lot of these practical guidelines coming, 13, 16, 17, 18, extremely practical shlokas, worth reading, understanding, and attempting to follow, right? We need not bother about how much progress we make, right? Making progress is important and assimilating it is important, right? So So basically, as Swamiji says, after listening to Gita for many years, if we feel that we have transformed, that is one thing. And if somebody else feels that we have transformed, that is even better. That is the best kind of advertisement for Gita itself, right? So, continuing. बुद्धेर्भेदं धृतेश्चैव बुद्धेर्भेदं धृतेश्चैव गुणातस्त्रिविधं शृणु गुणतस्त्रिविधं शृणु प्रोच्यमानमशेषेण पृथक्त्वेन धनञ्जय पृथक्त्वेन धनञ्जय गुणतः त्रिविधं शृणु. Okay, so now Krishna introduces two topics, very important topics, buddhihi and dhritihi. Buddhihi means intellect. Previously he talked about knowledge, now he talks about intellect. Dhritihi means willpower, perseverance, steadfastness, sincerity, commitment. Personally, I treat dhritihi as extremely important, both in one's family life, professional life, as well as spiritual journey. You will see once we go through this why dhritihi is so important. So dhritihi gunatah trividam shunu. So both of them can be divided into three, buddhi and dhritihi. That means sattvika, rajasa, tamasa buddhi and sattvika, rajasa, tamasa dhritihi. So thus division based on three gunas. Prochyamanam, I am going to teach you that in the following 6 shlokas. Asheshena, comprehensively and clearly, I am going to teach, dedicating one verse for each one of them. Prithakvena means distinctly, without mixing up, right? Shunu Arjuna, may you listen, right? So, and as Swamiji always says, Krishna had only one student in front, and if he does not listen, Krishna would have been crying in wilderness, right? So he really did not have a choice. Therefore he says Shunu, right? Dhananjaya Shunu, hey Dhananjaya, listen carefully, right? He addresses him very nicely. Dhananjaya means you're the winner of wealth. You have won a lot of wealth through many wars. You have done that, right? This is winning. Now whatever you are doing is winning or gaining knowledge. So may you do that, because the greatest wealth is what? Vidyadanam sarvadanat pradhanam. So may you earn this wealth now. This is the introduction. Now the following 6 verses will talk about these two. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha, pravrittim cha nivrittim cha, karya karye bhaya bhaye, karya karye bhaya bhaye, bandham moksham cha ya ye veti, bandham moksham cha ya veti, buddhi sa partha satviki, buddhi sa partha satviki. Of these two topics, Krishna has now taken a buddhi or intellect, and he divides it into 3, sattvika, rajasika and tamasika. And of them, in the 30th verse, Krishna is defining the sattvic intellect, and according to Krishna, sattvika buddhi is one which has got a spiritual goal in life, which has understood the limitation of the material goals, the limitation being that they can never make me feel complete in life. My sense of apurnatvam or incompleteness, right, and the consequent insecurity will continue how much ever I accomplish in this world. Therefore, accomplishing them is not my goal, but it's the moksha that is the goal. So moksha being freedom from insecurity, by getting freedom from ignorance, right? So self-ignorance is the cause of apurnatvam. So self-knowledge alone will lead to purnatvam. This clarity this person has got. If this much clarity we have, then we have a sattvika intellect, right? So he knows, even though self-knowledge is the goal, he's aware of this fact, right? But he has to prepare the mind, and for preparing the mind, I have to live in this world, utilizing the world as a field of service. I am in the world not for acquiring, but for serving. Serving through Pancha Mahayajna, so that I will get Chitta Shuddhi. By that I can go to the knowledge, and through knowledge I can get moksha. So this spiritual path is very clear. And whoever has got this clarity is called Sattvika intellect. In fact, if you have this chance, right, to actually spend your time in Pancha Mahayajna of different forms of services, the ananda that one gets, right, during the path towards Chitta Shuddhi is immense. And that is also an enjoyable ananda. Of course, we are not supposed to get addicted to any form of Vishayananda, but it is a nice form of Vishayananda. Therefore, he says, Bandham moksham cha, bondage is self-ignorance, and liberation is self-knowledge, right? And for that, pravritti and nivritti. Pravritti refers to the active life of karma yoga. Nivritti refers to a withdrawn life committed to jnana yoga. Right? They are not two optional sadhanani. Everyone will have to go through both karma yoga and jnana yoga, not simultaneously, but sequentially. Initially, it is karma yoga pradhana life. Jnana yoga exposure is there. Gradually, the proportion is tilted. Jnana yoga pradhana life and reduced karma yoga. This also the intellect is very clear about. Therefore, he knows pravritti and nivritti, bandham and moksha, and one knows that even in the karma yoga lifestyle, right? Karyam cha akaryam cha. What should be done and what is not to be done, what is dharma and adharma, what is appropriate and inappropriate, he knows. As we saw in the last class, my personal likes and dislikes also, I will fulfill only after finding out whether they are dharmic or not. Therefore, dharma, adharma becomes the basis, and raga, dvesha is filtered through the filter of dharma. The dharma filter is used. Therefore, that also he knows. And bhaya, bhaye, what is the cause of fear and what is the cause of fearlessness, right? Normally, we think that external factors are the support to make me fearless, right? Because when I am alone, it is the cause of fear, and if I've got external support in the form of possession, relatives, etc., that gives me security. I think like that. But as a Vedantic student, he knows dependence on external factors will not give me fearlessness, but the insecurity will only increase. Because previously I was worried about the security of myself only. Now I am worried about the security of my so-called supporters. Therefore, possessing insecure things can never add to security, right? Very important law. So therefore, dependence is not the source of strength. Independence alone is the source of strength. Therefore, our travel is not from dependence to more dependence, but it is from dependence to independence. So dependence is bhayam, independence is abhayam. I should know that. Everybody normally thinks grihastha ashrama is abhayam and sannyasa ashrama is bhayam, because the person is alone and the sannyasi does not have any support, right? So the security basically does not come from outside. It has to come from inside, right? So in the sannyasa ashrama, security comes from inside. Discovering this fact itself requires a lot of maturity. That is why it is said in Kaivalya Upanishad, na karmana na prajaya na dhanena tyage naike amritatva manashuku. This dependence is bhayam, independence is abhayam, right? So the spiritual seeker knows, when every person has got such an intellect, he has got clarity regarding these factors. So the intellect is called Sattvika intellect, right? And Sattvika intellect will not come from work, right? It comes from life's experience, and it is a basically, there is a very disturbing example that Swamiji gives, right? Very, very interesting example, right? So this person, there was a person who was drying the groundnuts, and a monkey used to come and take it away, right? So one day the owner got angry, so with the monkey, and therefore he fixed a narrow necked jar. as a trap, and he put lot of peanuts not only in the side, he put it inside this narrow neck jar, and he threw it all around the pot also. So the monkey knew that there were peanuts inside this narrow neck jar. So as usual, the monkey came and he puts the hand inside the pot, and the hand easily entered because the hand was empty. It took a fist full of groundnuts, and naturally what happened? It could not come out because the neck is narrow. That is how it has been designed, planned to be like that. Now it tried to take out the hand but could not. The owner came, and what happened? The owner gave nice, caning with a cane, the monkey, right? What could the monkey have done? The monkey could have just dropped the peanuts, right? And the monkey could have got liberation immediately, right? That is na karmana na prajaya na dhanena tyagena ike amritatva manashu. So Bhagavan says, don't hold on to anything. If you hold on to things, you will get this left and right bashings in the form of law of karma working on you, right? So this we have to learn from experience. Pariksha lokan karma chitan. We'll see all this in the Upanishad classes. So this is called sattvika intellect. It comes through life's experience. And if a person has got a sattvika intellect in young age, it means what? Very beautiful. Not that Bhagavan is partial. This person has received a thrashing in Purva Janma. Therefore, in this Janma, he is bit mature, and that is why there is a difference, because our journey is across Janmas. Continuing. Yaya dharmam adharmam cha, yaya dharmam adharmam cha, karyam cha karyameva cha, karyam cha karyameva cha, ayatavat prajanati, ayatavat prajanati, buddhissa partharajasi. Buddhissa partha rajasi. A rajasic intellect is that which has got half knowledge or partial knowledge with regard to everything. There are some people who don't have the patience to study the scriptures. So many people ask me, can you teach me Vedanta in half an hour, 1 hour, right? There are some people who don't have the patience to study the scriptures completely. Even to attend 11 hours of introduction to Vedanta, if they don't have time, how can we communicate what the scriptures have, right? Therefore, what they do, they read a little bit. One chapter of Kathopanishad, they will read the nice story part of Nachiketa. 2 pages from Mundaka Upanishad. Then in Gita, they will say, oh, I know part of 3, part of 7, and part of 16 chapter. All half learned. Partial knowledge is actually very, very dangerous, because I understand the concepts incorrectly, or I don't even understand, right? I don't have clear knowledge. So as Swamiji says, consistent and systematic study of the scriptures for a length of time, right? Under the guidance of a competent acharya, preferably. Or he always says that this person should have come in a Guru Shishya Parampara, not just learning from books, because a lot of things get transmitted only when there is a Guru Shishya Samvada, right? So he always insists on consistent and systematic study, and wherever there is doubt, getting it clarified, etc. Right? So whoever has got partial and doubtful knowledge, such a person is called Rajasic, and such an intellect is called Rajasic intellect. Therefore, Yaya, that intellect by which Dharmam cha Adharmam cha, both Dharma and Adharma, right? Do's and don'ts based on scriptural instructions, right? So, Shastriya Vidhi Nishedaha is called Dharma Adharmaha, Karyam cha Akaryam cha, means do's and don'ts from a worldly angle, which is not as per the Shastras. Laukika do's and don'ts here, right? Shastriya do's and don'ts are called Dharma Adharma. Karyam Akaryam is Laukika, worldly do's and don'ts, right? All these things, ayatavat prajanati. Ayatavat means inappropriately, incompletely. Whatever intellect knows, there is more and more doubt than knowledge, right? So, all the time only having doubts, right? So this is a Rajasic intellect. Buddhihi sa partha rajasi. Ayatavat means partial or incomplete knowledge, right? So what is tamasic intellect? Adharmam dharmamiti ya. Adharmam dharmamiti ya. Manyate tamasavrita. Manyate tamasavrita. Sarvartan viparitansh. Sarvartan viparitansh. Buddhissa partha tamasi. Buddhissa partha tamasi. So tamasic intellect is one which is definite about everything. No doubt at all. Very, very sure and definite. Only difference is the wrong way. So as Swamiji says, if he says morning class is cancelled, they will think evening class is cancelled, right? And they will be very sure that they can communicate to some more people also the wrong thing, right? So therefore, doubtless knowledge in the wrong direction. It is called Viparita Jnanam. So Rajasika intellect is doubtful knowledge. Tamasika intellect is wrong knowledge, right? And if Arjuna's problem in the first chapter was exactly that. He had thought Mahabharata Yuddham is adharmam. After having thought about it and analyzed it, the legitimate war, right? He suddenly says it is adharma, right? So he had come to the battlefield when he was in the middle. He had come after a lot of analysis, but then when he looked at Bhishma, Drona, etc., he got so confused that he never had a doubt in the first chapter. If you go back and see, you will see only in the second chapter Arjuna came from Tamasic to Rajasika. Maybe, I am making some mistake, right? So Krishna, right? He comes to that only in the second chapter. Then he in fact, he argues in favor of adharma first. So Tamasika person, nobody can help. That is why in the first chapter, what happened? Lord Krishna was totally quiet. He waited for the Tamasic mind to become Rajasic. Actually, just think back. We are in the 18th chapter. In the first chapter, what was Arjuna's mindset, right? So Krishna just kept quiet, right? From the wrong conclusion, one should first acknowledge the fact that maybe there is something else, and maybe, I am wrong and I have a doubt in my mind. Even that Shanka doesn't come, right? So in the second chapter, Arjuna came from Tamasic intellect to Rajasic intellect, and he said, Karpanya dosho pahatasvabhavaha pritchami tvam dharma sammudha chetaha yadva jayema yativa no jayehu. He first asked, Tamasic intellect can never be educated, right? So Rajasic alone is available for teaching. So he said, I have been afflicted with Karpanya dosha, samsara. Now you tell me what is right, what is wrong. Why don't you advise me, right? So this person, adharmam dharmam itiya. Just as Arjuna decided running away from the battle is dharma, even though it is adharma, right? And fighting is dharma, he concluded fighting is adharma. Because everything he understood the other way, ulta pulta, right? So adharmam dharmam iti ya manyate. That intellect which concludes everything in the wrong direction. Tamasa vrita, shrouded by tamoguna, right? Not only adharmam, sarvarthan viparitam. Everything is misunderstood, right? Nobody, including Bhagavan, can help such a person. We have only to wait for that person to come from Tamasic to Rajasic because of some punyam that is going to materialize at some time, right? So a Tamasic mind will not only be wrong, it will start teaching others also. Therefore, the most difficult thing to even say is, I may be wrong, I am open. Please tell what your views are. So buddhihi sa tamasi. So thus 3 types of intellect have been defined. Nishchaya jnanam, samshaya jnanam, viparyaya jnanam, right? So the 3 types of the intellect. Continuing. Dhrityayaya dharayate, dhrityayaya dharayate, manah pranendriya kriyaha, manah pranendriya kriyaha, yogena vyabhicharinna योगेनाव्यभिचारिण्या धृतिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी धृतिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी. Now Krishna enters into the next topic, namely dhritihi or willpower. So Bhagavan has given us willpower. He is given to every human being. Our problem is not the lack of willpower, but our problem is in which direction we should use. Therefore, Krishna defines each type of willpower. And the first one is Sattvika willpower. It is that willpower by which a person steadfastly continues in the spiritual sadhana. Whether it is Karma Yoga or whether it is Jnana Yoga, whatever spiritual sadhana he decides, New Year resolution, they say, right? The willpower by which he remains in Sattvika sadhana. He says, Yaya Dhritya, because of which willpower, Manapranendriya Kriyaha Dharayate. Manapranendriya Yakriyaha Dharayate. So the activities of all the organs are maintained in the dharmic path. Kriyaha means activities. Manakriyaha, mental, right? Pranakriyaha, breath, right? And activities of the mind, activities of the prana, and Indriya Kriyaha, activities of the sense organ, right? You attempt to maintain, right? They may not be 100% successful, right? So, but we can at least make an effort. The values given in the 13th chapter, the values given in the 16th chapter, the Daivi Sampat. In the 17th chapter, we also saw about Sattvika Aharaha, Sattvika Yajnaha, Sattvika Tapaha. Whatever he starts, he is able to continue. You can even test it out with a small thing like doing japa, 10 times nama or 108 times nama. Whatever we pick and choose, without swerving from that, continuously sticking to that path, that itself will give you an indication of whether you have Sattvika Dhritihi or not, right? So just taking any nama, right? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, whatever, right? Or Anantaya, infinite Lord with infinite resources. I surrender to such a Lord. Mind empowering mantra. Suppose a person decides, I will daily chant 16 times or 12 times. Somehow you must do it. You cannot give any excuse, right? That is very, very important, right? So there might be people like I will feed one person every day, or I will do a good deed every day. Whatever it is, before 12 midnight, it has to be done. If we have that kind of Dhritihi, that is Sattvika Dhritihi. But it is helping us in the spiritual path here. So 16 times chanting a mantra before going to bed, right? So those kind of simple decisions, but with commitment, right? So even Ekadashi Upavasa, right? So that is also a Dhritihi. That also shows it is a Sattvika Dhritihi. Yaya Dhritya Dharayate Avyabhicharinya, a willpower that is unwavering, steadfast, right? So how can that person get this willpower? Yogena, by the practice of yoga. Practice of yoga means Ashtanga yoga or sadhana. By sheer discipline, a person maintains that. And also through Sankalpa Shakti. You take that vow in front of God and stick to it, right? So Sattvika willpower. You can even try like reading a page of Bhagavatam, reading a page of Ramayana, because they are all continuous 2 years, 3 years, you have to do it every day, right? Anything, japa, whatever, right? All of these come under this discipline. How to inculcate this discipline through Sankalpa Shakti as well as through Ashtanga Yoga. Because using Ashtanga Yoga, you can control a lot of things and bring it under the sense organs can be brought under the mind control. So what is Rajasic Dhritihi? Yaya tu dharma kamarthan, yaya tu dharma kamarthan, dhritya dharayate Arjuna, dhritya dharayate Arjuna, prasangena phalakankshi, prasangena phalakankshi, dhritissa partha rajasi. Dhritissa partha rajasi. So by rajasic willpower, The willpower by which a person is very, very steadfast, but not in the spiritual path, but in the material pursuit. There is a commitment to earn money. There is a commitment to enjoy sense pleasures. Like there are some people, like every weekend, they have to go to the movie hall and see the movie. They won't even know what movie is there, right? I think it's called blind date or something. Yes, they will just book the movie and then they will turn up there. They are absolutely steadfast in that, right? So they don't bother what movie it is. Similarly, TV serial every day between this time and that time, right? So everything is adjusted to watching that serial, right? So other than moksha, for everything else, there is commitment, whether it is profession or anything else, right? In fact, this willpower, dhritihi, is extremely important for material success. And all those people who have attained material success, you read their books, right? How to think and grow rich, right? That's a very famous management book, right? So that is all material dhritihi, rajasic dhritihi. And that is very, very important. In fact, without rajasic dhritihi, you cannot do well in school, you cannot do well in college, you cannot do well in profession, you can't earn money, all of this. So in fact, if you have rajasic dhritihi, that itself is because of some punyam. Because without dhritihi, to develop that dhritihi is extremely difficult, the focus, right? So if the focus is on material pursuits, then through prayers, we can try and through repeated shravanam, through satsanga, we can try and direct it to become sattvic dhritihi, right? But material dhritihi is rajasic dhritihi. That is also extremely important for grihasthas to, actually succeed in their life, right? Work life, family life, etc. Right? So, but it is not in the spiritual direction. That is called rajasic dhritihi. Yaya dhritya dharma kamarthan. So the three other purusharthas. Even for punya, this dhritihi is used, right? For puja, etc. Right? So there are yagas in Taittiriya Upanishad. Avahanti homa is there. It's a very tough homa to be done, but it is for what? Lakshmi Devi to come, right? So Sakama Puja for Sakama Bhakti, right? So all of them also you need this dhritihi, right? So for developing this punyam, right? So he continues Dhritya dharayate, steadfastly he continues, and prasangena, with passion and attachment, a deep craving, right? Prakarshena sangaha, prasangaha, right? Deep attachment, phala akankshi, desiring the result for every effort of his. The one who follows that with whatever willpower, that materialistic willpower is called rajasic dhriti. Nothing wrong in that, because the material growth in society also, for that you require such people. Veda is not against this material growth. Veda says grow to some extent and thereafter you have to come to the next stage. Dharmartha kama is important, but you should know that they have limitations, and one day or the other you have to come to moksha purushartha. Then that is the rajasic dhriti. You need to shift to sattvika dhriti over a period of time as you understand what is important, moksha as important goal in one's life. Continuing. Yaya swapnam bhayam shokam. Yaya swapnam bhayam shokam. Vishadam madamevacha. Vishadam madamevacha. Navimunchati durmedhaha. Navimunchati durmedhaha. Dhritissa partha tamasi. So the willpower of the unintelligent and the indiscriminate person who does not know the value of human birth and who is very, very close to an animal. Such a person has got tamasic intellect and therefore given to swapna, night dreaming or daydreaming, very rarely awake. Therefore, na vimunchati, he does not give up dreaming, sleep and dreams, right? He does not embark on anything. Bhayam, always afraid of failure, right? He thinks the best method of avoiding failure is what? Never work. He says, I've lived 70 years, I have never failed in anything. Why? Because I've never started anything. Therefore, bhayam, right? So, and he does not start anything for fear of failure, shokam. Generally very gloomy, right? And he's also prone to mood swings, right? As Pujya Swamiji Dayananda Saraswati says, a person who is prone to mood swings is moodaha. Therefore, shokam, vishadam. Vishadam means depression. So, shokam stands for short-term problem, one who comes out of it quickly, and vishadam stands for long-term. That's the only difference. Madam evacha. Madam means arrogance, that he does not listen to anyone's advice. So he is given to laziness, he does not listen to his parents, he does not listen to guru, right, scriptural instructions, etc. And only thing he can do is pray to Bhagavan, right? He doesn't accomplish anything. He spends all the money, even if his parents are rich, he'll just not do anything and spend all the money. Then he accomplishes nothing. Only thing the parents can do is pray to Bhagavan, hoping that his karma will turn in this janma itself. That's the only hope. Therefore, madam evacha, right? In fact, there is a subhashitam, uttamam swarjitam vittam madhyamam pitrarjitam adamam bhratruvittam cha stri vittam adhamatam. It says, uttamam swarjitam vittam. I should live on my own earning, right? My own earning. That is the best form of uttamam, right? Swarjitam vittam. Earning myself and living off it. Madhyamam pituhu arjitam. So the second is the money of the parents inherited, right? After spending all the inherited wealth, trying to borrow from brother, adamam bhratruvittamam is the third one. The last one is trivittam, here meaning through dowry, right? And going on asking the in-laws for money and spending, that is the worst. So a tamasic person takes to all these things, and therefore durmedha dhritihi sa partha tamasi. So that is tamasic dhritihi. Steadfast in what? Not doing anything, right? Committed to laziness. This is tamasic willpower. So with that, Krishna has concluded buddhihi and dhritihi. So how many topics we have covered? First three was jnanam, karma, karta, then buddhihi and dhritihi. 5 topics, and in the beginning Krishna talked about sannyasa also. So 6 topics we have completed. Sannyasa, jnanam, karma, karta, buddhihi, dhritihi. Right? So now Krishna wants to introduce the 7th and final topic. If you analyze the 7 topics, right, through these 7, Krishna has summarized all the previous chapters of the Gita, right? If you remember Uddared Atmanatmanam, Atmanam Avasadayet, you will see the comparison between Dhritihi and that. It's a this cross-referencing is a very, very interesting work. Once you get an idea of the whole Gita, you can actually do that. It's a wonderful exercise, right? So the 7th topic is Sukham. We are entering that. Sukham tvidanim trividham. Sukham tvidanim trividham. Shunu me bharatarshaba. Shunu me bharatarshaba. Abhyasadramate yatra. Abhyasadramate yatra. Dukkantam cha nigacchati. Dukkantam cha nigacchati. Hey Bharatarshaba, a great one in the family of Bharata, in the Bharata Vamsha, the one who is great, right? Shreshtaha, idanim trividam sukham shunu. Even joy or pleasure can be divided into 3 types. Extremely rare topics unique to our scriptures. We only know joy or happiness, but even here there are 3 types, right? So all very beautiful discussions. And he says, don't vote for happiness just because it is happiness, right? Abhyasat ramate yatra. Any one of these 3 types of happiness can form an addiction in the human being. All these 3 are capable of forming an addiction, right? So because it may give joy and I vote for that, I might get enslaved or I might get addicted to it, right? So, for example, there are a lot of things that can give joy. For example, the joy of smoking, the joy of drinking, right, or drugs, any of these, right? So they all give joy. The problem is what? They're all forms of addictions, and we don't know how to come out of it. Therefore, learning to say no to the wrong pleasures. Prevention is better than trying to cure. Therefore, you should know abhyasat. By practicing them, ramate, a person gets addicted and revels in that again and again because of sheer repetition. Abhyasat means repetition, right? And it is wrong. One dukhantam cha nigachati. So by which a person, a wrong or right one, right? A person basically ends his sorrow if he gets into this addiction, and even the wrong pleasure, right, of this drug addiction, etc., will end the sorrow temporarily, but ultimately it is a problem for that person, right? So that itself creates sorrow later. Therefore, dukkhantam, meaning all the three forms of pleasure, help us to get rid of pain, right? All three kinds of pleasure, very important, help us to get rid of pain, right? So the wrong pleasure is very easy to take to. This is called basically drowning the pain in drinks, they say, right? All spiritual seekers must be very, very careful with regard to smoking, drinking, drugs, etc. So one of the qualifications is, if a person is given to any of these, one should first learn to get out of them. Thus, he introduces the three types of pleasures, and in the following three shlokas, he will define Satvika Sukham, Rajasika Sukham, and Tamasika Sukham. Yattadagre vishamiva, yattadagre vishamiva, pariname mritopamam, pariname mritopamam. Tatsukam satvikam proktam, tatsukam satvikam proktam, atma buddhi prasadajam, atma buddhi prasadajam. So Krishna defines sattvika sukham as something which we will have to earn by following disciplines, because in sattvika sukham we are not allowed to lead a life in any way that we like to, right? So we can't blindly go by instinctive desires. We can't go by raga dvesha. We have to find out what is appropriate and inappropriate. Good for myself as a person, good for the family, good for the society, good for the environment. Therefore, I have to discipline myself and make myself dharma pradhana, overriding raga dvesha. When life is governed by raga dvesha, I am called a prakrita purushaha. When I follow dharma adharma, I am called samskrita purushaha. Therefore, sattvika sukham requires conversion of prakrita purushaha to samskrita purushaha, right? Even when we have to keep our body fit, right? A lot of rules of health which is painful, right? So they ask you to regularly do some exercise, etc., right? So always it is nice to, sleep extra, eat and watch TV program, and then again go back to sleep, right? Enjoy without bothering about food restrictions, etc., right? So to do anything regular and be regimented, you require effort. Therefore, any sattvika sukham will require effort in the beginning, which is painful, and any effort is painful. And once we develop the habit of proper eating, proper exercising, proper sleeping, as Krishna said in the 6th chapter, right? You might remember this. Yuktahara viharasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, yukta swapnava bodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. So, Dhyana Yoga becomes the destroyer of sorrow for one who is moderate in eating and recreation, who is moderate in sleeping and waking, and who is moderately engaged in actions. Moderation in everything Krishna advises. To develop the habit initially, it takes a lot of time. So most of the individuals now go to bed late and get up late. It is not only from Shastric angle, but from health angle also it is not good. So if we have to follow a healthy sleeping pattern, it is difficult because you go to bed early, you will not get sleep because we have been regularly sleeping past 12 midnight. So it requires effort to change the pattern of eating early, sleeping early, etc. Therefore, Krishna says, Satvika lifestyle is painful initially, but once we have practiced and we start deriving the benefit of not only physical health, but also of mental health and sensory health, right? Sense organs are never addicted to something this way, right? So the sense organs become healthy, mind becomes healthy, body becomes healthy, and I generally become a relaxed person. Therefore, he says, Yat, that sukham agre vishamiva, which appears poison in the beginning, because any discipline is painful, like physiotherapy, right? Which is extremely painful. Therefore, agre vishaiva, it is like poison. It is not poison. Pariname amrutopamam. Amrutopamam, in due course, the joy that I can derive is much subtler, much deeper, and much long lasting. It is like amatram in the end. In fact, ultimate ananda is self-knowledge. So when a person gains the ananda of self-knowledge, the worldly people will say, oh, he is missing all the worldly ananda, and sympathize with him. He doesn't go to movies, he doesn't go to parties, he doesn't eat outside, he has no joys, etc. Right? But he is not like that, right? They don't know the joy of Sattva Guna Janya Atma Jnanam. Therefore, here Amrutopamam is infinite Ananda, and Tat Sukham, such an Ananda is called Satvikam Proktam, right? It's called Satvika Ananda because in that Ananda, the mind enjoys peace, security, and happiness, right? Therefore, the mind is fulfilled, relaxed, calm, and therefore Krishna calls it Atma Buddhi Prasadajam, right? So, some Atma Buddhi Prasadajam, right? Atma Buddhi Prasadaha or Atma Buddhi Prasadaha, a prasada that comes from Atma Buddhi, right? Atma means my own reflexive, my own self, right? It comes from me. Buddhi means mind and prasada means tranquility. So this is Satvika Sukham. But for that, one has to work hard. Initial pain is involved. There's a lot of sadhakas that we have to do. Exactly like a musician, how much he practices before, he or she just moves the fingers and the voice also, the gamaka moves, right? So much of practice is done by a musician, right? Similarly, initially this can be painful, but Satvika Ananda is the highest form of Vishayananda that one can experience born out of Atma Jnanam. So we'll stop here. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I will take questions. We have a class tomorrow, same time, 6:25. I'll try and switch on. Today we had a problem with the webinar, so we will start at 6:25 tomorrow. Are there any questions? Let me just see. Okay, are there any hands raised? Okay, no hands raised. Okay, we'll try and put this up tonight itself. In case anybody else wants to catch up before tomorrow's class, we will see if the recording is processed. We'll try and get it done at the earliest. Hari Om, and we will meet tomorrow, same time. Thank you. Dhanyavadaha.